We're explaining how to add a column to a data frame in R. There are several ways to achieve this, depending on where the data for the new column comes from. 1. Creating a new column from scratch. This is the simplest method if you want to add a column with a constant value or a sequence of values. Let's say you have a data frame called MyData. To add a new column named newColumn filled with the number 10, you would use MyData newColumn 10. If you wanted a sequence of numbers, you could use something like MyData sequence column 1 and row MyData, which creates a sequence from 1 to the number of rows in your data frame. You can replace 10 or 1 and row MyData with any vector of appropriate length. If the vector's length doesn't match the number of rows, you'll get a warning or an error depending on the situation. 2. Adding a column based on existing columns. Often you'll want to calculate a new column based on values in other columns. For instance, if you have columns column A and column B, and you want to add a column C, which is their sum, you'd use MyData column C, MyData column A, plus MyData column B. You can use any arithmetic operator, plus, add tas, or more complex functions. For example, MyData columned, sqrt MyData column A, calculates the square root of each value in column A and puts it into column D. 3. Adding a column from an external vector. Suppose you have a vector some new data that you want to add as a new column to your data frame. Make sure the length of new data matches the number of rows in MyData. If lengths differ, you will likely encounter problems, so double-check this carefully. You can use MyData newColumn, new data. This directly adds the contents of new data as a new column. Using the mutate function from the dplyr package. The dplyr package provides a powerful and flexible way to add and modify columns. First, you need to install and load it using install.packages dplyr, and then library dplyr. Then you can use mutate like this: MyData %% mutate new column equal 10. This adds a column new column with the value 10 to each row, just like in method 1. Mutate is especially useful for creating new columns based on existing ones. For instance, MyData %% mutate column C E column A plus column B. Mutate allows multiple column additions in a single command, making the code more concise. Remember to load the dplyr library dplyr, before using mutate. Remember to always check the dimensions of your data and the vectors you are using to avoid errors. These methods provide flexibility for various scenarios, allowing you to efficiently add new columns to your R data frames. Using dplyr is often preferred for more complex data manipulation tasks because it improves code readability and is quite versatile.